Hi, this is Steve Richards, and this is going to be a video about ranking forums in the affinity, relationship, connectivity, and rank columns. And for this training video, I will be using Sports Networker as an example. This is what the SN stands for up here in the corner, which is one of the sites that we use and have built out in the One Website training and as a One website for us. So here I'm in the forums, and I'll just click on one of these forums to get started. I've chosen clubbuzz.co.uk/forum. So I click on that, and I come up here, and it takes me to ClubBuzz forum. And I can see here these discussions here, so this is definitely a forum with topics and comments and some discussion that's going on here with stats along the right hand side here. So this is definitely a forum, and I'm going to go about ranking that with our ranking columns. So the first ranking column I'm going to go into is relationship, which is, you can see here, and if you hover over these, the description is over each one of these ranking columns. And you can see here that this is a relationship of how related the record is to the pillar. And the way we do that is we find the pillar, which is here in the E column. So we see that our pillar right here is social media and sports. So when I go back over to the forum, I'm going to try to find out how related the forum that is listed is related to the pillar, which in this case is social media and sports. So I can see the first discussion here is social media on your site, which is definitely a good start because that has social media right in there. There's a lot of things in here that are created by the admin. It looks like they're doing some changes to their site, like with version 1.5. So it looks like they're trying to create what membership data to capture or what reports to file. So there's a lot of stuff that they've created as admins because they're going through some changes right now. But if we look through, we can see here that we have website versus management tool, where they talk about how clubs view their ClubBuzz solution. So that's kind of more of an admin topic again, but this is a website with some management functionality, or you see it as management tool that happens to come as part of a website solution. So there's kind of talking about how people view actual ClubBuzz. So this is again a bit of a higher level type thing. So here we click on women's football here. Check out our article on SheKick's website if you want to attract more members to your club. First place to start is your own club website. So this is a bit of a social media type thing again because it has their own website. So that one's not too bad in relation to social media and sports. This talks about the upgrade. Capitalize on increased interest in sport generally after the Olympics. So we'll see what this one's about a little bit. Is your website up to the job of attracting new members to your club? So this is, as we look through these discussions, we can see that a lot of them are about the social media aspect a little bit. What it's really about is about clubs and their websites, which is a part of social media, which is a good, so the pillar is pretty good. So if I go back to the relationship column, you can see here that I'm ranking 1 to 5, where 1 is the best if it's completely related to social media and sports and it's exactly like social media and sports, and 5 would be the worst if it's not related at all to social media and sports. So what we'll do here is we'll go back through and look again. We see social media on your site. That's a great one. And we see that it mostly talks about your website. And while websites aren't typically talked about as social media in sports, they definitely do draw a social media type community if you have a website that's running well and you have a website that's driving traffic. So it's not completely related to social media and sports, but it is definitely related a little bit. So as cliche as it is, we'll mark this right in the middle as a 3 and move on to the next column. So the next column is going to be the connectivity, and we can see here that connectivity is based on the comments allowed, the reach or the number of comments on the site, and if links are allowed on the site. So, and then again, this is going to be ranked 1 to 5, where 1 is the best cumulative number and 5 is the worst cumulative number. So we'll go back over, and the first criteria again is comments allowed. And there definitely better be comments allowed because this is a forum, and that's how forums run. And you can see here that we have 3 comments, 7 comments, 13 comments. So there definitely are allowing comments, and they're getting a pretty good amount of comments. Not too many, but at the same time, at least they're getting some conversation, which is definitely better than none. So they definitely do allow comments. That's positive. The reach, or the number of comments. So again, we go back, and I see that there's 3 comments here, 7 comments here, 13 comments. This is pretty good. And if we scroll all the way down, we see that April 2012, they only have 1 comment. May 2012, they only have 2 comments. May 2012, they have 7 comments. So that's actually not too many for how long these forums have been up and available to people to comment on. But we can see here that there's 147 discussions, and there's a pretty good amount of comments, because at least all of them are getting some comments on their discussions. So it's not too many comments, but at least some comments. So that's okay. We would say that that's about right in the middle. If not on the lower end, because of how long those forums have been available and how few comments are on some of them. And then the last part will be the links on the comments. So the way we find that out is I'll just click on this first one, and I'll go in and I'll hit add a comment, and you can see here it wants me to sign in with my email and my password. So it looks like they don't let you add a website to your name, which is what we're looking for when we say links on a comment. So if it's a forum that allows links on your comments, then it'll say email, password, website, and what that'll do is you can put in your website in that field, and then that website will link to your name. So you can see here, I haven't signed up yet, but if I click on here, if I click on Lane, rather than going to a website, it looks like it just goes to Lane's Club Buzz member page, and it has her username, his or her username, email, join, visits, last active, roles. It looks like it doesn't have a spot for a website anywhere, and that's definitely important to us, and we definitely want to have website or be able to link to our website, because that's part of the support marketing where we want to create backlinks to our site. So the fact that this forum doesn't allow for backlinks back to our site is definitely one in the negative column. And now what we'll do is we'll add these 3 up and create a ranking for it. So based on comments allowed, they definitely do allow comments. The reach, or the number of comments, was, like we said, about a middle of the road, because while they do have a lot of comments, some of the discussions have been on the board for a while and don't have too many comments. And then links allowed on the comments, they definitely don't, or that not definitely, but it looks like we couldn't find evidence that they do allow links on their comments, which is definitely a negative. So again, if we're ranking 1 is the best and 5 is the worst, we'll go a little bit lower end here, and I'll say that this one's a 4 after tabulating all the factors. And then the third ranking column here is the affinity column. So we can see here that affinity is how much we align with the record. So that's just going back and trying to figure out how good that we think the record is, or how much value we think that we'll get out of being a member of this record and commenting on this record, and being involved in the discussions. So after looking at everything, it's got it mentions websites and clubs websites, which is definitely good, but at the same time it doesn't allow you to link to a website. So that is definitely in the negative column. The comments are a little sparse. While there are comments, they struggle a little bit to get a good amount of comments. So while these comments, or while this ranking is going to be a little bit different by whoever does it, because obviously it's personally how you think we will relate to this record, my affinity ranking wouldn't be too high for this one. I'm going to give this one a 3 for right now, which is right in the middle of the road again, but it's definitely not a 1 or a 2, where I definitely think that this is a great forum and we'll definitely be able to get a ton of value out of it. It's close. It might be closer to a 4. It's definitely closer to a 4 than a 2. It might be like a 3.5. I try not to give half rankings just because that can confuse things a little bit. So I'll give it a 3 for now, and then maybe once we sign up and they allow links, if they allow links once you sign up, then we might change these rankings. But for right now, the fact that they don't allow links on their comments is a pretty big factor, and they struggle a little bit to get a good amount of comments on discussions that have been out there for a while. So those are those 3 rankings with the affinity, the relationship, and the connectivity. And the last one here is going to be this rank column, which is here the sum of the ranks for affinity, relationship, and connectivity, which we just did. And I'm actually going to change this. This should be sum, not rank. So that's obviously titled the sum because it's the sum of the ranks of the affinity, relationship, and connectivity columns. And we actually create this as a equation. So to create this equation, we just go equals and then open up a parentheses, and we choose these ranking columns. And the way we do that is we find M, which is the affinity ranking. So we'll go M, and then we find the row number, which is 3 in this case. So we go M3, and then we hit the plus sign, and then we go over to the next one, which is relationship, which is in the N column. So we go N3, and you can see that these highlight, if we pick the right cells, that it highlights these cells in these different colors. We have green here, and it highlights the cell in green. We have red here, highlights the cell in red. And the last one is connectivity, which is O, and again the row is 3, and so it's O3, and you can see again it highlights that column because I picked the right one. So I close the parentheses and I hit enter, and what it'll do is it'll add these 3 up, which will be 3, 6, and this should be a 10 when I hit enter. And it is. So you can see that equation works exactly the way that we want it to work. And rather than having to put in the column or the equation every time and just changing it, they would change from M4 plus N4 plus O4. Rather than having to do that, we can just hit copy and paste, and you can see it's 0 right now, but if you look up into the function bar, then we see it changed itself to M4, N4, and O4. And if I was just to put a 2 here and move over, you'll see it automatically changes to 2, and a 3, it'll automatically change to 5, and a 3, it'll automatically change to 8. Obviously, I haven't looked at that one, so I'm not going to keep those. But that's just a way to show you that you can just hit copy in the cell above and paste it in the cell below, and it will copy that equation over for you, and it will automatically update once you're putting in the ranking columns. So that's everything for now. We've gone over the affinity rankings, the relationship rankings, the connect rankings, and the sum column. So that's everything that we're going to go over in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to go over to onewebsite.ca, or if this is for your team, then head over to your team site and ask the question in that ticket that this video may be placed in, and hopefully your project manager or your administrator will get those questions answered for you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.